And the last thing I wanted to mention was I got my labels on my foam board. Still using the foam board, so nothing's staying in well. But at least I got a label on here if I'm going to use it, how I want the final look to be. So I've got my controller labeled, AC outlet labeled, my fan labeled. What this does, AC outlet voltage labeled, battery voltage labeled, and this has already got an indicator, so no need to label that one. But the wires are up here in the corner. I just wanted to remind anybody not to disconnect the wires while the system is active. That's that. Got the quick disconnect. I painted over the hole that I made. And I've got my DC outlet, my switch to the DC. My USB outlet, and way over around in this side I've got the circuit breaker, 15 amp circuit breaker to the DC outlet. So I've got this circuit breaker here is 35 amp. So the positive wire comes in to this quick disconnect. It splits up. This one goes directly to the inverter. It's a 35 amp circuit breaker. This wire goes to the controller. This switch is actually a 30 amp circuit breaker. These two are switches. This is to the inverter. The inverter already has this 35 amp circuit breaker. The solar panel has an inline fuse. I believe this is 15 amp or so. Here's the fan. Then I have the switches again. So that's basically it. I've got a quick disconnect. I've got a circuit breaker between the battery and the inverter. I've got a circuit breaker between the battery and the controller. I've got an inline fuse between the battery and the panel. I've got a circuit breaker for each of the 120 volt outlets. I've got a circuit breaker for the DC outlet. I've got an inline fuse 3 amp to the solar tracker circuit, and on the other side I've got an inline fuse from the tracking circuit down to the motor. Cap on the motor, make it a little bit more water resistant. You got fuse, 3 fuses, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circuit breakers. And all. That's about it. I will probably try to figure out what to do with this mess of wires so that when the inverter heats up it will not be a problem, and I'll probably eventually replace this foam board with something that's either fireproof or metallic, like aluminum, something that does not conduct electricity. Thinking maybe fiberglass or something like that. So that's about it for my little portable solar unit with a portable tracking, solar tracking, single axis on this one.